Hey everybody, it is Saturday afternoon and I'm taking a little break from working on the pond, and I want to get everybody caught up on what I've done so far. The only thing I have left to do today is just get some more bulbs in the ground, and so there's no real need for you to be updated on that. This is what we're going to be planting. I don't know exactly where they're going to go or how many of them I'm actually going to plant at the moment. Some of them might already be a little too late. I've been sitting on these for quite a while now, and so we'll have to wait and see what happens with them. But otherwise, what I have done with the pond today, we will start at the top and start working our way down, because we've done quite a few things here now. Not all of them are immediately obvious. The first thing I did was I put a big flat sort of capstone over all of the smaller stones. The smaller stones give us that sort of rushing water effect, the way they're positioned in front of the hose. And then that big sort of capstone holds everything in place and makes it look very natural, just like we've got some water flowing out of some cracks in the rock, like a very vigorous spring. I've also got a few rocks positioned in the path to give us some appropriate splashing and gurgling and bubbling noises and so on and so forth. And then of course we've also got another rock strategically placed right here to slow the water down, and then it forces it on either side, and that gives me that sort of split waterfall effect there. So the other big thing, if you probably noticed by now, is that big log I laid across the top there. I found that right down in the bottom of the yard, so I was quite happy with that. And it is a little more solid than I was expecting. I thought I was really going to be able to sort of notch out some of the softer material on the top and lay some plants in there, but it's pretty solid. So I have a little bit of a groove that I laid some creeping jenny in, and we kind of packed a little bit of potting mix over top of the creeping jenny, and I'm hoping it'll be enough to get it to root in and establish. If not, I can try to get some moss to grow on it. Maybe I can drill some holes into it and we can get some fern growing on there. It's got potential. I don't know. This little nandina bush is also going to get trimmed back a little bit in the fairly near future too. So I also planted some sensitive fern. I dug that up from another spot in the yard, and I planted it right there kind of on the end, and that sort of caps off the chopped off log appearance. This end you can kind of see, but we're working on that. The foxglove, it's kind of covering it at the moment, but again, it does still sort of look like a chopped off log at the end there. You will also notice that I moved this piece of wood that was up there, just kind of repositioned it so it's still there. We can still sort of see it. I found that rock at the top right up here already had moss growing on it, so I moved it down here where that moss is going to get wet, and hopefully that rock will start growing some moss over top of it. This beauty is one that my wife found. She was up at the top of the yard and she called me up there and said she found a really cool looking piece of wood that she thought I would like, and she was not wrong. That is awesome. I was able to plant it or position it in such a way that we've got water flowing through it, and ultimately we're probably going to have plants in here growing up and out of it with the water flowing through it, maybe some java fern or something similar that will grow in running water, so we don't have to have the soil mix in there. You know, I want you to be able to see the water flowing through that along with the plants being in there, so I'm excited about that. Right up in here I have a gigantic elephant ear planted, so we're waiting for something to happen on that. In the meantime, I sort of covered a lot of the plastic here with some rocks. I sort of back covered it with some potting mix. I put a bunch of creeping jenny on the ground right here, so I'm hoping that's going to grow down and grow onto the, you know, basically just grow right into the edge of the pond. We've got some caladiums right here. You can't really see them, but you got two little green specks right there. Those are both creeping phlox, and so I'm hoping those phlox are going to creep down in this area, and we're going to have basically just nice ground cover with phlox, and we're going to have ground cover with the creeping jenny, and then of course we'll have the elephant ears and the caladiums and all that kind of stuff going on down there. A little bit of stuff around the front. This is all a type of sedum, or you can call it stone crop if you want. It looks like this. So that eventually, and this stuff grows like mad, it just takes over. That's why we have it everywhere like this. And so again, just grabbed handfuls of that and moved it right over to here. Let's see, you can see, you know, that's what it looks like once it really gets going and gets into full flower. So it just grows everywhere. This is where I dug up that sensitive fern. I dug a big patch of that up, and right here is where I grabbed all of that creeping jenny. So if you've never seen creeping jenny flower, it gets those beautiful little golden yellow flowers on it. And then again, this is that other sedum that we put on there, and that is Squeaker the cat. So again, a lot of this stuff just came right straight from the yard and just got sort of moved over to here. So moving along, we went to the store today and I purchased some red sedum. I don't know the actual name of the cultivar of this one, so that is going to be some beautiful sedum there. I'm really looking forward to watching that grow in. Put some rocks and stuff over where the electric cord comes out, and again, more caladiums. This is another type of creeping phlox over here. And then I planted a cardinal plant right there, which is a big, it'll get tall and spiky with flowers, red flowers all over it, and the hummingbirds and the butterflies love it. So as far as in the pond goes, Squeaker's making his way over this way now. As far as in the pond goes, I did return the dwarf cattail because it didn't really look like it was doing anything. This one also doesn't look like it's doing anything, but it might have one tiny little green shoot coming out right here, so we're going to wait and see if something happens from that. You can see the lily pads are doing well. They're growing nicely down here. It's kind of hard to tell what's alive and what's not, but if you see this stuff right in here, that's Java fern from my basement fish room. And right over here, if you can see that kind of plant down there, that is, well, I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's a crypt right here, and that's from one of my aquariums down in the basement, and we're going to see how well the crypt does out here. So far, that is all we've done. Again, I got those big bulbs I need to get planted, those iris I need to get in the ground, and other than that, I think we're just going to let it fill in. So I know it doesn't look great right now, but over time, as all these plants fill in, that's kind of the thing with gardening. You got to be able to sort of look ahead and plan for the future. The plants may look a little scraggly right now, but if I put so many plants in there right now that I covered everything, where would they grow into? You know, you have to leave them space to grow and develop and that sort of thing. So in time, this will all fill in, and pretty soon I'm hoping you won't really even notice the plastic rim at all. You'll sort of forget about the black background. I'm hoping like green algae and stuff will grow on that, and before you know it, this is just going to look like a natural pond being fed by a natural spring flowing out of the side of my hill there. So that's my update. That's the progress I've made so far. Oh, I forgot to mention the other final thing is this is a pickerel rush, and that's growing really well, so I'm happy about that. But I have come out a couple times now in the morning, and that plant has been knocked over. That's why you can see all the gravel up here. That gravel used to be in the planter, but it keeps getting knocked over, so I think it's raccoons coming out here at night and fishing around, no pun intended. So I still have my 4 black koi. They're still in there and doing well. And as far as the goldfish, I haven't lost any dead, I haven't found any dead ones in the morning, haven't come out to find any floaters in several days now. So I think we've sort of weeded out all the ones that were going to die, and the only ones I'm going to lose now will be if I lose any to predation. But remember, you can see the black pole right there, the holder. I've got a umbrella that I stick in there, and it just completely covers this whole thing. So now it's a trade-off between keeping it sheltered and protected and letting my plants get enough sunlight. So we're going to be playing that game until this is a little more overgrown, and once it's overgrown, the fish will have a little more cover, a little more shade. I won't need the umbrella anymore, so that won't be too far off in the near future. So make sure you're subscribed. You won't miss that or anything else I've got coming up. You never know what it's going to be with me. Don't forget, I do a live stream every Friday night and Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Look forward to seeing you there. Again, in the meantime, make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you soon.